Robert, Manchester United summer targets have been revealed now. Five players that Manchester United bring in have been sort of the shortlist has been identified, and now we'll talk about who they are, potential options, prices, and much more. It's looking like United are probably going to spend, I would say, £300 million plus. It's another big window, and this one obviously focuses on the midfield. Now, I talked briefly about some of the midfielders yesterday. Now, the minimum five signings to strengthen the squad next season. The intention is to bring in three midfielders, a left back, a backup striker, and a goalkeeper to support for Saint Lamont. Now, the first thing we start off is the three midfielders. Now, we've seen a few weeks ago, I think it was Laurie Whitwell who said United are looking to bring in three midfielders, and those three sort of midfielders are going to be 80 million, 40 million, and I think 20 million was the range. Now that is 140 million, and United apparently want to spend 150 million. So I think that's what's needed. I think a massive midfield overhaul is needed, and there's lots of options out there, luckily, for Manchester United. Now, that doesn't mean that we're going to get everyone. There's a lot of good players in there. There's a lot of clubs in the Premier League looking for new midfielder options. Man City looking for someone to potentially replace Rodri, definitely to replace Bernardo Silva, and obviously they've identified Anderson. Arsenal will always be out there looking for new midfielders. Chelsea as well, they're a club that loves to sign players. Clubs abroad, your likes of Real Madrid, your PSGs, Bayern Munich always looking for new players. In terms of Premier League, there'll be a lot of clubs interested in signings. Now, the three midfielders or the options, there's so many, Tonali, Anderson, Wharton, Baleba, Mateus Fernandes, João Gomez, Edison, and there's many more. Now, the three that I think United should sign, the 80 million one for me would be Anderson. I think he's the complete midfielder. I think he's someone who would massively complement Kobbie Mainoo and improve this team. Now, if you can't get him, the second A-tier choice would be Tchouaméni. I think he's someone who, top level player, experienced, won the Champions League, played in big games for Madrid, and I don't think there's any bigger pressure in club football than Real Madrid. He's got the mentality, he's got the quality. Anderson as well, the price is going to be expensive, but he's someone who has proven it in the Premier League and has proven it over multiple seasons. He's someone who at Newcastle couldn't get into the team, went to Forest, that move's done wonders for his career, and now he looks like he's going to secure a big move to definitely a Premier League club, and someone probably playing in the Champions League, which Manchester United do fit into. So Anderson is definitely one of them. I think he's someone who does have ridiculous quality and experience already. He's played in European games. In terms of that £40 million signing, for me that would be someone like Mateus Fernandes. He's someone who's obviously playing for West Ham. They're looking like they're going to get relegated, or depending on what happened in the last few games, but it is close. I think if he is to go down, he'd be someone that's definitely on the move. Again, he's still only young. He's played, I think, two seasons, I think, at Southampton, but definitely this is his first season in the Premier League, and he looks up for the challenge. He's a physical monster. He's good on the ball. Premier League quality. Again, we're looking at improving that midfield. He would do that. He's better than Ugarte. He can play in that box-to-box position. And I think he'd actually be someone who would actually compete with Mainoo, not start every game, but certain games where Mainoo need to rest or rotation, he would definitely be a viable option to come in. He is still young, he's still developing, and he's definitely someone that you can bring in as that option. Now, in terms of a 20 mil option, I mean, there's not many midfielders out there that you can get for 20 million. I mean, there is the option sort of that United promote someone from the academy. The academy does have a lot of good midfielders in it, and under 18s and under 21s are doing relatively well. You have players like Sekou Kone, Jim Thwaites, the Fletcher twins, who can come in. I'm not saying they'll be ready to start games, but they have been in the squad already, and potentially on who the manager is, they'd be looked to introducing them into the squad. I think United definitely do need two, and I think two top class quality midfielders to replace Ugarte and Casemiro, and then one to replace, or not to replace, but one to keep with Kobbie Mainoo. And the three that I would get, as I said, Anderson, Baleba, and Mateus Fernandes. Now, again, it depends on the price, it depends on availability, because City can easily get any of those players if they wanted, especially they're probably going to win the double, and they probably win it's looking like the Premier League race is over, but you never know, they could still win it. And the other name that's been mentioned is obviously Wharton, but United are staying away from him because they do deem him too similar to Kobbie Mainoo, which is probably the right thing. It's all about finding a partnership. You look at some of the best midfielders over the years, they've complemented each other. You look at more recent times, sort of that midfield of Arsenal, Zubimendi, Odegaard, Rice, they've got a balance. Casemiro, Modric and Kroos, they all had a balance. Busquets, Iniesta, the same thing, and Xavi. So it's all about getting that balance and complementary partnership. If you look at Casemiro, Manu and Bruno right now, there's a good partnership there and they understand each other's roles, each have strengths, each have weaknesses. I think if you sign Anderson and Wharton, Anderson and then you put Wharton next to Manu, you have two players of similar quality. So yeah, that's just the midfield. We know three midfielders want to bring in. You're looking at 150 mil spent there. Now a left back is interesting because Malacia is probably going to get sold. Dorgu was initially bought in to be a left back. Obviously, we've seen his impact in the team further forward. I think he has that ability to play in that left hand side. I think his quality there, and he is still only young. He's 21, so he's someone who still got a lot of development in him. But I think going forward, whoever the manager is going to play him in that further forward position. I think you get the best out of Dorgu there. So then that begs the question, Luke Shaw, he's still going to be here. I don't think he's going to leave yet. He's off sort of his most consistent season in terms of appearances. I'm sure he's going to want to stay around. I think that does then United need depth for the Champions League games. We're going to be playing hopefully more than 50 games next season, or probably more than 50 games next season, depending on how far we go in the Cup. And the Cup competitions could be more than that. And Luke Shaw won't be able to play 50. I know he's played 36 this season out of a possible 36, but next season it's going to be tough to do that and to get consistent performances as well. So United do need a left back who we bring in. Lewis Skelly's names to be mentioned. Lewis Hall's not in favour at the moment at Newcastle. Obviously you have top European left backs out there, but I think you potentially can bring in someone that's young who again is from Europe. Shaw's had a lot of experience at the club. Again, we do have some young academy players there, but are they ready to make that first team step? I mean, someone that I've always liked is Alvaro Carreras from Real Madrid. He was initially at United's academy before he left. I think under 2023 he left and went Benfica, and now he's at Real Madrid. And he's had, I don't watch Real Madrid enough, but I don't think he's starting many games there. I think he's definitely a good option you can bring in. He does have quality, he does have experience, and he is young. And I think he's played for United before, not many times, but I think the fact that he's been at Madrid, similar to Tchouaméni, would make him adapt to the Premier League. And I think he is a very, very good left back. And backup striker now, again, that means probably Xerxes is going to leave. I think in terms of striker options, there aren't many out there. I think we do need someone with a bit more experience. I think Mbeumo's been played there, Cunha's been played there, but you need them wide. And I think we do need a vocal point. Now, Sesko obviously is the main striker, but who's going to come in and replace or compete with Sesko? You have Ollie Watkins, then Lewandowski going into his final year. Obviously, Harry Kane's someone that's been mentioned. Danny Welbeck as well. I'm not really 100% confirmed on yet who I want the striker to be. There are many options out there. I think obviously Lewandowski, elite goal scorer, but he is 37 now, I think he is. So maybe that's too old. I mean, United have had some legendary strikers over the years. Ibrahimovic, Falcao, Cavani was brilliant. So we have had good strikers. Obviously Ronaldo returning in the way that he did. So strikers is going to be something that United always need. Obviously Højlund's expected to leave as well. United are going to get a bit of money for him. Rashford's probably going to go. Sancho's going to go. So we do need sort of players to come in. And I think just Watkins would be decent, but again, will you be able to get him out of Villa, especially if they're in the Champions League and winning the Europa League? It'd be very difficult to probably get him out. Obviously Welbeck's 35 now, or 36. Is he that sort of goal scorer that you need? Potentially. I mean, he's scoring goals this season. And then a goalkeeper, listen, that could be someone like a Vitek who's on loan at Bristol City, already at United. Could be. It's not going to be a number one. It's going to be a second choice. Bayindir and Onana are expected to leave, which again is right for the club, and they can generate money from that. In terms of other goalkeepers, obviously Heaton I expect to stay as a third choice keeper, which is important. I think he's someone who you need around, and he's a senior figure in the squad. In terms of second choice, I mean, I'd just get someone from the academy. Now, Dermot Mee, someone who's been around, he's in the first team squads at times, or he's definitely travelling and training with the first team. I don't know if he hasn't got his opportunity yet. I mean, you always do need a second choice. I don't think Bayindir and Onana are a good enough second choice. So we do need to find someone to bring in. But I would probably look at bring someone like Vitek through. But again, would he be happy playing minimal minutes, cup games? I expect Lamont to be the goalkeeper for United in the Champions League, so it'll probably be FA and the Premier League, so it'll probably be FA Cup, Carabao Cup games, which again is difficult to find keepers these days that want to do that. I mean, we've had a lot of goalkeepers over the years. I know Dubravka was one that was briefly brought in. Obviously, Romero being the best one that we've ever had in terms of second choice goalkeeper. So that's going to be definitely something that United need to look at. But in terms of priority, it has to be the midfield. Again, in terms of price for that, I think you're spending 150 on the midfielder, probably 30 on a left back, probably 40 on a striker. So that's already 220 million, and then 10 to 15 million on a goalkeeper. So that's 230-40 million pounds. But then you have to look at the money that you get or the money that you get from Højlund, from Rashford, the wages that you save from Casemiro, a fee potentially for Ugarte, Onana, Bayindir, Malacia, potentially Mason Mount, Xerxes. So there will be lots of players going out. I don't think United have enough money to spend 240 million. But again, net with players leaving, money saved on wages, I think that's a pretty realistic window. Again, but midfielders is key. Let me know.